So what does it mean for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in the new year? Well, joining me now to help answer this question is Kevin Lehtiniitty. He's the CEO at blockchain-based payments firm Borderless XYZ. Kevin, it's great to have you on the show today, and let's dive right in because Bitcoin might be a big topic of conversation for those with family and friends this holiday season, hitting, of course, that all-time high earlier this month. Where do you think the coin can go from here?
I think what we've seen recently is a transition from what in the US has been a very innovation-unfriendly administration, not into even a crypto-friendly administration, but just an innovation-friendly administration in general. And we know the Bitcoin markets have reacted extremely well to President-elect Trump's kind of victory here recently, along with the nominations that he's put. I think this starts a 4-year cycle, and we should expect not just the digital asset prices to grow over the next 4 years, but we should expect a ton of innovation in the digital asset space across Bitcoin, across other tokens, and across a lot of other use cases as well, like stablecoins and payments.
I do want to focus on stablecoins, as you just mentioned there. Those have been coming more into the zeitgeist of late as we've seen the cryptocurrency space just gain so much momentum. What is driving the recent rise in stablecoins from your viewpoint?
There's a lot of adoption in stablecoins that's starting to come from the payment space. As digital assets become more prolific around not just the US, but also in other parts of the world, especially in emerging markets like Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia, and those sorts of regions around the world, people are realizing that sending value on a blockchain, i.e. kind of stable coins to a wallet, is a much faster and cheaper way of doing global remittance versus doing it through correspondent banking systems, doing it through the PayPals and TransferWise and fintechs of the world.
What does that mean for the US and, of course, the global operation?
I think for the US, we're expecting to see a lot of startups that are focusing on building the next generation payments and technology companies, and they're all starting to come back to the US, which is really interesting. About a year ago or 2 years ago, we started to see this large trend, which was an exodus from the US. A lot of these companies were starting to become headquartered in London, starting to become headquartered in the EU that recently passed the MiCA regulations, going to jurisdictions where the regulatory landscape was friendly for new tech companies that were building on this technology layer. And now we're starting to see that come back to the US, which is a great sign.
And what are some of the challenges faced with this mass market stablecoin adoption?
I think you have kind of two sides of this coin. On one hand, you have the validation. And a lot of people ask, is this a fad or is this something that's going to stick? And I like to point kind of the enterprise players that are playing in the space. So Visa launched a new product to help banks tokenize currencies and create stable coins. PayPal has launched their stablecoin, PYUSD. Robinhood and Paxos and Anchorage created a consortium that launched a new stablecoin called USDG. But part of the issues that we're still seeing is there's massive fragmentation. People outside of the kind of blockchain industry think of a stable coin as a singular thing, when in reality, you have dozens of different stable coins running on dozens of different blockchains that are all supported by different companies around the world. And you don't have a unified layer or unified infrastructure product where somebody that's building in this space can say, I want to go between, real money, for lack of a better word, and stable coins anywhere in the world in a single place. Those things haven't been built yet. And I think those sorts of things, which is candidly what we work on at Borderless XYZ, those are the giant unlocks that are going to help bring this mass market.
Interesting. Well, researchers we see are warning about the risk of a quantum computing attack on cryptocurrency and what it could mean for the industry. Kevin, is this a possibility? What are the chances that it could actually happen?
I'm certainly not the world's foremost expert on cryptography and some of those things. I can tell you from kind of colleagues in the space that I've spoken to, people don't seem to be overly worried. Certainly quantum computing represents a giant leap forward in our ability to do things like break cryptography. But there's already been several blockchain innovations that have created what they think, or at least claim to be, quantum computing proof cryptography. So the space will adapt, and it seems to be a non-issue.
Google's new quantum chip, Willow. What does that launch mean for the future of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the space?
When you think of the blockchain, a lot of people think of the blockchain as some sort of a ledger, right? That keeps track of accounts and balances, for lack of a better word. But really, at the end of the day, a blockchain isn't just a ledger, a blockchain is a computer. And tokens are programmable, and therefore tokens are actually software. So when we have innovations like the Willow chip that can radically improve the amount of compute that can be done, I think that's tremendous for the blockchain space. I think that means that you're giving more powerful hardware and more powerful computations to the world's biggest open software platform. And that's only going to spur more innovation and more growth.
Kevin Lehtiniitty, CEO of Borderless XYZ. Kevin, thank you so much for joining, especially ahead of the
Thanks for having me.
holidays.